Welcome to Subramani. Akshay Kumar is a Hindi film producer who perhaps needs no introduction to the Indian audience. But he's a guy whom I like for the fact that he has some rules while making movies. Maybe he has been inspired by what is happening in the south of India, where they are more strict and particular about what they are shooting, in the sense they have strict time frames, etc., and that discipline itself makes sure that they make money. So in fact, Akshay Kumar in one interview said in those days they used to make movies which would take years to complete, and it was almost impossible for such movies to ever make money unless it was a super duper hit. Now when Akshay Kumar makes movies, he makes with a very short time frame. He shoots with tremendous amount of discipline and finishes his movie in whatever is the time frame, maybe 90 days, maybe 120 days, whatever. I have no clue as to the timelines. Now why am I saying this? I'm saying because even while investing, you need to make your own rules, whatever be the rules. Don't say I don't like rules, I am a free bird, I will do whatever I want. That doesn't work. So a simple rule saying not more than 70% of my money would be in equity ever, right? It's a fair enough thing. I'm not even getting into right or wrong. So the minute you go to 75% or 74%, you will exit equities. Or say a simple rule, I will not buy stocks above 25 PE. I'm not even getting into maybe some sectors you will never enter and you will not make money in that sector, but you may make money somewhere else. Or you say I will buy only when there is a deep value correction in these stocks and the PE has to fall, or there has to be a longish time correction which allows me to buy these shares because in the meanwhile the earnings have increased, right? So some of these rules, unfortunately or fortunately, most DIY investors don't make rules, and even if they do make rules, they don't stick to it. So for Akshay Kumar, to make money in movies is very simple, because he has to stick to his rules, and once he sticks to his rules, whatever he invests, he knows that he can get that by selling of the rights in one location, or the music rights, or selling it to OTT platform. He knows he's recovered his cost, and whatever else he makes on the whatever else is there is an upside. He also does not pay too well to artists. He takes artists who are not very expensive. He lets them ride on the up, rather than saying I will commit so much money to you, which again makes it very easy on the working capital, right? So some of these things, if you can do while investing, you make your own rules, whatever it is, why you are investing, this is for this goal, this is what I will do, and things like that. Because at some stage you may have the ability to take risk, but you may not have the need to take risk. And sometimes when you have the ability and need to take risk, you may not have the desire to take risk. So you say, no, these are the rules which I make, I will stick to it. And there will be a lot of times when you are unable to invest because your rules are holding you back. Don't go and break the rule, or if you have to make a change in the rule, that's perfectly all right. But you are sitting and wondering why you are doing, and at least you are applying your thought to the rules that you have made. So it's very important that you make the rules, and then you see what are those rules and how is it relevant for you. And sometimes suddenly you may feel that the performance of the particular industry is not so good, or in one industry where you are unable to understand, let's say pharma industry. So you make a rule saying in pharma industry I will not buy any single stock, I will only invest in a pharma fund or a healthcare fund. That's a rule that you have made, nothing right or wrong. Again, typically you say, okay, I don't understand which technology company will do well, so I will always invest in an ETF or in a passive fund, saying I don't want any bias. This fund will have Infosys, it will have TCS, it will have HCL, it will have Wipro, it will have Happiest Mindset, it will have L&T. I don't know which one to buy, and I do not know when is this a cycle for the bigger ones or for the smaller ones. So I will stick to a ETF, or I'll stick to a passive fund, or I'll stick to a fund which I like, where I like the fund manager who decides to buy startups also, who invests in the US markets, who invests in Taiwan, so I can participate in all that, right? So that is your rule, saying I will not invest in TCS, Infosys, Wipro, because I will only invest in a fund. But I understand banking. So in banking, I know that I should buy HDFC Bank, I should buy ICICI Bank, I should buy State Bank, maybe Equitas, maybe Yes Bank. I buy a full range of banks, knowing that I understand banking. So in banking, I don't need an ETF, I don't need a fund, but in pharma, I need a fund. In technology, I need a fund. So making these rules, saying I will not invest in a PE about 25, or I will not invest in a PE about 20, or I will sell when the PE of the shares which I hold exceeds 25. Making some of these rules, you will at least test your patience, you will check your rules, you will re-look at your rules, you will rewrite your rules, you will do all that. And I'm sure you will outperform many individuals who do not have rules. Yes, those people who do not have rules may get one hockey stick kind of a return in one script, but overall, I think in your portfolio, you will do much better than them. Because investing is not just about buying equity shares, it is also about creating a portfolio. It's about conveying to your family what you're doing, sitting with your family and saying this money is for this goal, this medical insurance is for this top-up insurance is for this is super top-up that we have, explaining what you have, explaining why equity should be sold only in the position of comfort, why you should not sell it in panic, right? Any strategy which you use for the short term may not work in the long term, so you should have long term strategies, you should have short term strategies, and see what works for you. It is not that all strategies are equal, but there is at least something called a strategy, right? You will say, I will not listen to any YouTube video guy and decide to do changes in my portfolio. Or you say, I will follow XYZ and I will do it. You may be right, you may be wrong, you may lose money. But if you lose money, then go back and check whether your rules are right? So if you're not very confident about the rules that you make, there are enough investment philosophy statements. I have myself spoken about it on videos. It's there on my blog. So if you go to my blog and read investment philosophies, you will find those rules and regulations which I make, which I suggest to people to make even when they are creating their retirement corpus or just wealth creation, right? During any of these things, I make these videos. You can have a look, you can see what is written. There are a lot of other people who may have spoken about it or written about it. See what suits you, see what suits your family, sit with your family, talk about it, and then make your investments. You will definitely outperform those people who don't make these rules. Now if you can't make these rules, or sometimes what happens is in asset allocation, etc., you may not be disciplined, or you may not understand how to implement. For such cases, put a big portion of your money in the core portion of your portfolio, and your core could be a balanced advantage fund or a multi-asset fund. A multi-asset fund invests in many assets, like it says, and in that you will anyway participate in equity, in debt, in gold, etc., and that fund house or that fund manager will decide to do the switching between debt and gold and equity, whatever, or foreign equity, or whatever he wants to make changes or she wants to make changes. Currently a lot of my money is under women fund managers. So those rules, if you can't make, go and buy these funds. This could become your core. I think this is a good core to have for many people who are perhaps creating wealth for their children or even for their own retirement, because it means it will be a fund with less standard deviation, lower average return, but still understands that some of these funds could have 60-70% in equity, and that's not a small amount in equity. So go and check out some of these funds, see what suits you, and then make your choice. Thank you.